Welcome to Health Oddity, the show that strips away the jargon and hype surrounding all things health and fitness to help you live a long, strong and energetic life. Lining up at the bar this week, here's Peter Lant and James St. Pierre.
Look at that. Brilliant. Okay. Welcome to the Health Oddity podcast, episode 300. We are joined by a very special guest today. And I do think it's probably, it's at least his 12th visit to the podcast. I know we did 10, I think, in the first 200. And then I think we may have just done 250 and 300. I don't know. Yeah. But if you're watching the video, you can see he's in fancy dress for us. Oh, I love that. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let me get a picture of you side on like that as well. Absolutely brilliant. Good. So
they know it's me.
The gums. So, well, one of the questions I was going to ask you, I know that helmet is very like 300, the movie, with King Leonidas.
I think of that. I'm shocked. I didn't even think of that. I'm just coming in from a battle. That's all.
Right. So the first question is: if you went into battle with that, would you be able to see anything? Like,
yeah, actually, you can see really well. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
That's okay. There you go. Then
but also remember, I played American football, so you actually learn really in American football just because of the helmet. You learn to you learn to see here. You know,
yeah,
right. Well, yeah.
You learn to use the force.
What my first question? Well, it's not a fitness related question, but it is very appropriate. You wearing the helmet. Have you seen the most recent trailer for the Christopher Nolan upcoming summer blockbuster, The Odyssey?
Well, not only have I seen it, but I think that's been so, you know, should I pull this off?
Yeah, take that. You can take that off now if you want.
Does everyone know it's still me?
It's you. Oh.
So don't forget, the group I train with is extremely literate. So TJ, for example, he finished Dickens' Great Expectations, got me to read Great Expectations, and then we all kind of read the Iliad at the same time. And strangely, by the way, the Iliad is still remarkable, but it's still not. People expect the Iliad to be the Troy, the movie, and they're two different. I mean, they're radically different. Well, not radically, but it's different. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. The thing with Christopher Nolan is I think he's going to do a really good job. I mean, I still think that Troy, the movie, just missed it. Maybe it was because she was an attractive young woman, but kind of nothing. Peter O'Toole's wonderful in the movie. Brad Pitt is wonderful, but the movie just seems to, not, it's like they need to add some fuel to it's just, I'm very excited about Christopher Nolan's movie. It's interesting. I was talking to my grandchildren. I just dropped them off at school and they're not reading. They don't know who Homer is. They don't know the Iliad and the Odyssey. My granddaughter doesn't know who Michelangelo is. And I'm like, you know, it breaks my heart that we're not reading the classics in America. And it shows because I think the average American has become not only fatter and fatter, but I got to tell you, dumber and dumber. If you're not reading the classics, if you don't know history, you're going to repeat it. So I'm looking forward to it. So, hey, congratulations on episode 300, guys.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Well, without you, we'd only be on episode 288, I think. So.
Well, and I still think I should be on more often. I'm very disappointed in both.
And then the other thing I was going to say, we had a guest on a couple of weeks back called Dr. Kyle Hulsebus, who's from Illinois, who's a third generation chiropractor, and he very early in the podcast mentioned Beowulf, and And I said to Pete, I mentioned it just now. I've never read Beowulf, but I don't think I think I know you don't really like this one very much. But it was weird because we spoke about it the other day, and then last night I turned on Netflix and they've got the 2007. It's kind of like an animated one, and I can see your face now. But is that not worth watching to give me an idea about it? Is it better just to read it? Yeah, yeah.
Well, that so if you go to my website, it should be in there. My first published article was on Beowulf, and I have it in there. But
Mm,
let me tell you, let me give you the two big reasons why you want to read Beowulf. I'll just give, well, the first one is very simple, but in Beowulf, when a warrior speaks, they only speak in the pure present. And when a king speaks, they always go in this pattern of past, present, future. Abraham Lincoln's very famous Gettysburg Address, very short. I mean, you can read it in a minute or two. He starts off, 4 score and 7 years ago, past. We come here, we gather today. And then he says at the end, future generations aren't going to remember any of the crap I just said. And of course, actually, we remember exactly what he said. That's that past. So when somebody asks, when I'm in king mode as a coach, very often, someone will say they're having a hard time in the discus, and I'll say, that reminds me of my friend James. He had the same problem.
mm,
So here we are today. But if we fix this, down the line, you'll be an Olympic champion. That's
mm,
warriors speak in the pure present, which is interesting because when you're dealing with athletes, it's always about can you go? I mean, yeah, my arm is bandaged, I'm wrapped up, I'm hurting, but I'm going out on the field to play because that's what I do. And I
mm,
and what's good about that, and I broke Beowulf down into two parts years ago. I called, there are warrior diets and there's warrior training. That's when it's all about today. I think a kingly approach is probably smarter. You should check in on, like, when it comes to nutrition. Don't eat food you're allergic to. Don't eat, you know. So know your past. Know things. Look at every meal. This is what I'm going to eat now, and ideally, these meals will lead me to a better life down the road.
mm,
So,
mm,
and then the other thing is in the three great fights, it is the anti-Christian Trinity. Uh, uh, Grendel loses his right arm. Grendel's mother, reverse that father, loses the head, and of course, the dragon is the opposite of a dove. So you have basically the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But
mm.
opposites. So that's just a cool thing. So, and I just bored your entire audience.
No,
Absolutely.
you didn't at all. Is it just we've spoke a lot on the podcast about it's just gone out of my head. Pete, uh
What you want me to think
meditation,
about? What you're thinking about?
No, sorry, Marcus Aurelius meditations, for
Yeah.
example,
Well, yeah.
which is really quite difficult to grasp, and so it's Beowulf. Can you read it, and can someone of simple intellect like myself understand, or does it require, like, you wrote a whole essay and a whole piece about it? Can it be absorbed? Is it written in kind of like
Yeah. In
an
fact,
ancient language and things, or is it
there's
is it
a
is it you know?
there's a popular version that came out a couple of years back. Uh, this one here, Seamus Heaney's version, Beowulf. I still like the Burton Raffle one best, but you can certainly, and I imagine there's translations that are maybe youth-friendly translations that you might want to read.
Mm,
Um, it is it's funny. You guys are over there in England, and it is a very important epic for the English. It is before the, probably before William the Conqueror. So it's before French shows up into the English language. It's
mm,
before that style of feudalism shows up. So it's very much I don't know, just before William the Conqueror, which is And don't forget the impact of William the Conqueror still impacts you both today, right? Doesn't 70% of the land or something like that in England held by descendants of William the Conqueror, right? Or his family, right? It's still an enormous impact on the country. Um, if you get a chance, and this is what I did, we read Beowulf and the Doomsday Book back to back. The Doomsday Book isn't exactly fun reading, but it is just. But if you do it in an academic setting where you only read snippets in a group and then unpack it, it's just amazing. Yeah. So sorry, gentle audience, for coming in on this and listening to.
Well, no, it's good. No, it's great because that's why we love having you on, because we're not talking about, sets and reps and whether the dumbbell press is better than the kettlebell press.
Yeah.
It's slightly different than that, slightly more highbrow.
It's also quite funny because you say like a lot of the land is owned by people who are descendants of William the Conqueror, but currently James Dyson is trying to do something about that, because I think he's, James Dyson, the Dyson vacuum cleaners and all that.
Yeah.
So he's actually from around here.
Oh.
From near Bath, and he sponsors the rugby team. I think he owns half the rugby team now and all that, and he's got like a massive estate around here, and so is his son. I think he now owns more land than the monarchy does. I think that's a thing. Yeah. So
well, what's the biggest landowner in the UK is the church, isn't it?
Is it? All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But the queen or the king now, like King Charles used to have like more than that, more than him, but now he's got more than them. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah. I was going to ask as well, Dan, just your opinion on, or not opinion on, your thoughts on, very recently over here, the London Marathon. We had the first, obviously the winner broke the 2-hour marathon for the first time. And the guy who came second also broke the 2-hour marathon. It was his first ever marathon. And he broke the previous world record, ran under 2 hours, and still didn't win. Came second. But yeah, that's obviously like a huge, like watershed moment, isn't it, in track and field and athletics and things.
It would be considered one of those things that we probably shouldn't be broken. It's really that's 13 miles an hour. And then not that 13 miles an hour is ridiculous, but to do it for 2 straight hours, I mean, just that's the thing. Phil Maffetone, great man. He predicted this a while ago. One thing he said, and we did a dual interview a while ago, and I really enjoyed that. But one of the things he said that was interesting, he goes, there's a chance that, like, one of the things you have to reconsider is drinking water to go sub 2, because water is so here I am drinking a liter of water, that's a massive amount of weight, and that's going to have an impact on the speed. And I thought, wow, because Phil really dialed it in. Is it now when Bannister broke the 4-minute mile? There's so many asterisks around that. It clearly would have been broken earlier, but this little thing called World War II got in the way. It was, I don't know if you guys read, it was in the papers. It was a big deal.
Not World War 11.
Yeah.
Did you see that recently? I can't remember. Did you see that, Pete?
No.
I can't remember. It was a speech. It was in America. I think.
Of course, it was in America. It's clown show. We are a clown show right now.
They were reading, and they were talking about something, and they referenced like World War 11 rather than World War II.
I get it. Yes, I didn't know what you were talking about. It was like, when did the other 8 happen, or 9, or whatever?
Yeah. I know.
So with Bannister, when he broke it, there's always this thing about how there was this huge, it was this emotional and intellectual barrier, and once it was broken, there was a lot of people hovering around it, but it just takes a while you got to get over a war. You got to, people have to have a chance to train again. With this particular barrier, I do think this is So this can sound weird. I think Bannister's 4 minute mile barrier literally is different than this 2 hour barrier. It is different only because I think we've been chasing the modern marathon since probably 1972. That would have been the jogging boom of the 1970s. This is Bill Bowerman writing the book Jogging. This is I don't know how big the running boom was in England, but it was massive here. So you're looking at almost an entire, almost 2 generations now. Seriously, 2 generations of running, moving in, and then now the financial side of running is so big. There's like these small companies like Nike and Adidas, and you guys say they're Adidas?
Adidas, probably. Yeah,
Adidas,
Adidas,
yeah.
Adidas. Yeah, yeah.
Adidas, Nikkei. I mean, there's just there's so much money in all this. I mean, there are people in America, in the United States, who collect Air Jordans, and they will stand in line to buy a shoe. And okay, well, all that money can support this modern things. I also think there's some real changes in how they look at nutrition. Although, if you look at the guys who ran, neither of those guys is going to compete in a powerlifting contest this
Mm.
week.
Mm.
But they're, and the shoe, I guess the shoe that they run in is just stunning. I guess it's a stunning shoe. Uh, but again, you're not going to put that shoe on me, and I'm not going to. How did Dan John break 2:20 in the marathon? It was it was his shoe. Yeah.
You're talking about money there. I know we're going all over the place, but I don't mind. It's nice because it's while we've got you on, I want to share. We talking about money. I don't know how much you've seen about this enhanced games that's coming up
Oh
in
yeah.
America, in
Well,
Vegas. So we've got obviously like Hafthor Bjornsson from Iceland and Mitch Hooper, who just won the World's Strongest Man again for the second time from Canada. Both going for the deadlift. I know there's lots of sports there. There's going to be swimming. There's going to be track events. There's everything. But
yeah.
they're going for this deadlift world record, which I think is 5'10" at the moment, held by Hafthor Bjornsson. Now, yeah, I mean, obviously there's I don't know, there's ethics potentially involved, but everybody's doing the same thing, and it's kind of out in the open, and they've got medical supervision and all the rest of it. So I don't know what you make of it.
Have you ever seen the thing called Deadpool with the bodybuilders? You know,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that one body Munzer, he died after he posed, died.
Mm.
You can have all the medical intervention you want, but
Oh, you're still
uh,
putting you say yeah, yeah.
yeah, interesting. I still, I, you know, Ziegler, who brought Diana Ball to the United States, he said, he felt terrible because he felt like once he let the genie out of the bottle, Pandora's box, he used a couple different ways to say it. But I think the advent of anabolics actually hurt sports because we, like Dick Knockmeyer, my coach of blessed memory, as he used to tell me, he goes, steroids will put you 2 years ahead. Now, it's a little different, our conversation here, but
Mm.
he said it'll give you a 2 year bump, but the mistake is you won't have the lessons of those 2 years. So you
Mm.
won't have those 700 plus sessions of training, those bad meets, those good, those bad workouts, those good workouts where you figured out that little thing. So one of the problems with the enhanced games is that the only information I'm going to get back from the enhanced games is that if I take a lot of drugs, I do better.
Mm.
Well, that's not exactly, you know, and listen, I'm not against, obviously, I mean, but a good example, you both remember Erica, and Erica says hello, by the way, to
Mm.
both of you. So, Erica, with her career, and if you did see Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, season 2, episode 4, that is my girlfriend. So there you go. Uh, If you did get a chance to see it, it's hilarious. Well, drove me crazy, but it's funny. Uh, for example, if you decide to start taking Viagra, and by the way, this is not a moral issue. This is not. There's nothing wrong with that. But you start taking Viagra. Well, you're taking Viagra, so now you've overcome ED and you're doing this. But what you might have missed is the fact that you're taking Viagra because maybe your cholesterol levels are interfering with your function. Maybe it's because your stress level or this or that or this is the issue. And so you're kind of masking some other things. Now, listen, I'm sneaking up on 70, guys. I mean, things change. And, like, so yesterday I did front squats, okay? I did front squats. And Erica and we went on a walk last night, and all of a sudden I can feel the morning's front squats. That area right below your butt cheek where and I'm like, okay, I used to get sore in 2 days. Now I'm getting sore in 10, 8 hours. So, I mean, I can go home and take a whole bunch of, I could pop some red pills or blue pills or green, Motrin or whatever, but that will mask the other issue that I'm going deep in my squats. I mean, and so my concerns always with enhancement is, and I get it. Hey, listen, I work with people who make a lot of money to play sports and games. I mean, if you want to get your income to go from, if you've already done all the work and you're in to get to that 1%, I get it. We use nicotine patches for certain groups of our military to keep them awake. Well, I don't think nicotine patches are a good idea, but it's a lot better than getting killed. So so to me, when we discuss enhanced games, all of a sudden, it becomes very, I'm not a fan of either or anytime. And of course, I like both but if you were to say that with this discussion, it becomes much more of a spectrum. Uh, if you ever go to a paint store and you're looking just for white, I just want to paint my damn wall white, but they have like 60 different whites. And someone will go, this one here, this heather fuchsia white is better than to me, it's a much more nuanced degree discussion. Generally, my answer is don't do drugs because when you're old, the one guy told me one time, you're bald, you end up bald and broken. And I thought, oh, okay. So, the sleep apnea issue shows up. The joint issues that you can't fix show up. And also you tend to be kind of I don't know if it'll translate, a dick. Uh, yeah, yeah. And, that's not a good way to go through life.
Yeah.
It's funny because you just reminded me of a Frasier episode where they find a whole new shade for the carpet of like harvest wheat or whatever it was. But anyway, some of the people in James was talking about this a while ago, and some of the people in James's gym were saying, because he said, "Oh, the enhanced games, they're going for the deadlift or whatever," and they're like, "Oh, what? So them like strong men are going to have to start taking drugs?" And it's like, so there's the flip side to it. At least this is like they're blatantly taking them, whereas you see media influencers and all this sort of stuff are doing whatever they're doing, saying that they're natural.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the obvious ones. I'm talking about there's some people who like look like they might be natural, but they might not be. And if you're not in the know, if you don't know anything about it, you might think they are. So you make that your goal, and then you've got no chance of getting it, have you? So
Yeah.
at least for me, at least with this, it's like it's putting it out there and saying, yeah, this is what you can do with this, but it's probably not a good idea.
I don't know if you guys know, there's an American by the name of Greg O'Gallagher. Do you guys know
Yes.
Greg's work?
Yeah. Kino body.
Kino body, yeah.
Yeah.
And I bought his first stuff. We talked in 2012 or 13 or something. So I've known Greg a long time. And Greg, and I trust it. He says he's lifetime anabolic steroid free, testosterone free. And he's been very candid. He said, when I turn 50, if I have issues, I'll think about TRT. By the way, I just from my experience, from watching Friends. I would not, don't use a sledgehammer when a screwdriver is all you need. Okay. So well, recently Greg started using a GLP-1 to deal with that. And it's interesting to watch because there's been a whole massive conversation lately about, is GLP-1s, is that making you drug enhanced? And it's interesting because I, I'm no expert on GLP-1 at all. I do have Lyle's book. Lyle McDonald wrote a really good book on it. It was really helpful for me. Whenever I think I need to know this stuff. I read Oprah's book enough, and I got to tell you, it was not very good. I was kind of surprised that book came out. It's not. It wasn't. It wasn't good. So,
Is that a recent book that she's written?
yeah,
She's
I
put
would
out? Yeah.
say I went to the bookstore with Danny and Joe's, my grandchildren, so it had probably been 4 or 5 months ago at the most, ish.
Because I know
Soon,
she's
maybe.
started doing a lot of strength training and things now, hasn't she? Or I don't really see a lot of Oprah over here, but I
Yeah,
see things where she's deadlifting now, and she's like in her
yeah.
seventies, I think, and she's,
If she'd have
you know,
hired me as her coach years ago versus those other, you know,
mm,
the cardio clowns, we're gonna, Richard Simmons, we're sweat to the oldies, Jane
mm,
Fonda,
mm.
all this idea of you. And the truth is, for most women, if you just lift weights and get a little stronger, all your dreams come true. It is stunning to watch. Well, you know that with your facility, you know that.
Mm.
I
Um,
think I think we've just had a premonition of what we might be talking about in the next episode.
but Greg's the discussion right now is, so is GLP-1s um, drug enhancement?
Mm,
The thing that Oprah said that I thought really was helpful, she talked about the noise, the food noise that was constantly chattering in her head. Now, I got to just say for the record that, I suffered from bulkorexia for most of my career, where you just always wanted to be the biggest engine in the room. Uh, if you deadlifted this, I had to deadlift it. Even if I had the nationals the next day, I just had to prove to you that I was better than you. And weird because I watched my own athletes destroy championship opportunities by trying to win the weight room, you know,
mm,
you know. So, you know, I, I had that a different style of food noise where it was like, if I'm not shoveling food down my gullet, I'm getting smaller. And so I understand that. Fortunately, I don't have the other side of it where it's like the chirpers in your head all the time. So but I do think it's a fun discussion to lean into, and the discussion is semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, are these enhancing drugs?
mm. Because it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've heard people who have either addicted to food or have this
Yeah.
very unhealthy relationship with food. Almost, it is like being an alcoholic, you know.
Yes.
But then also I've read some stuff recently where the GLP-1s are actually, they're experimenting now with them actually to treat like alcoholism and things like that, because it's meant to actually shut off the kind of the dopamine reward center from having things, so you don't get the same, so it's actually, I think they're getting some very positive stuff around dealing with alcoholism with it as well now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
quite interesting.
a few of the friends I have who moved on to them, they have all said that it's just strange. A lot of their cravings ease off. I would be fascinated, and it'd be interesting if you get any feedback from this. Uh, Social media. I'm wondering if it also would help with social media addiction,
Mm,
because if addictions are addictions, it's a it's you know
mm,
the dopamine response. You push the button, you get a reward. You get push the button, you get a reward. Um, I know we're moving all over the place, but it is interesting. Erica's taken a course at Harvard, and the statistics in America, 40+% of women around the menopausal period, the perimenopause, postmenopause, that period, are obese in the United States right now.
mm,
But only 7% of them exercise at what we consider the minimums.
mm.
7%. of American women in that age cohort exercise, and yet in the high or mid 40s are obese. And so to me, this is just adding the GLP-1 into the conversation might do a lot of help in the, I even want to use the word emotional too, the mental and emotional issues surrounding obesity. But we're not still dealing with the most simple ones, the exercise option. And of course, I can't emphasize, sleep, drink water, eat protein, eat vegetables, eat fruit enough, and then go for a damn walk. That's all. What I just said is all money, but it just seems like we're not getting those basics across. In the same way, it's funny to come right back to it. The fact that my grandchildren don't know who Homer is and he wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. That to me is a basic that is being skipped by the school I went to. Yeah.
It's so interesting, isn't it? With with the GLP-1s then, in terms of if they could be seen as performance enhancing. Because I've read as well, or I've heard recently that they're talking about like the benefits of just, again, you've got to be so careful because it's all these biohackers and everything that are everywhere now, and they're saying that like you kind of micro dose like GLP-1s, like it can have like it can have benefits, to loads of areas of health. But one person that I know who was on them for quite a while came off of it and said because it almost made their whole life very vanilla, very like pale. They didn't have any
it's like those
yeah,
anti-anxiety drugs that
you don't have any highs and low. You know what I mean? You don't, because you don't get the reward of enjoying. You no longer, you don't enjoy food. You don't kind of enjoy certain things because it's taken the kind of the enjoyment away from it, so that you don't overdo it. But it makes, it's kind of just gives you a very kind of almost like a very boring existence. But
there's a good sex in the City episode, and I don't remember which girl's involved, but this guy used to be a horn dog, and he gets himself on one of the pills, and it just flattens him out. So he doesn't have an interest in sex anymore. So he's not a horn dog anymore, but he's not. And you're right, that vanilla existence. And I like that because, I see so much of life as a power law. If you follow my training, I have those 3 half-hour weight workouts a week where I really freaking go after it. And then I walk 10,000 steps every day. I'm almost at 7,000 right now, and it's 8:15 in the morning. So for me, hard workouts, long walks. You if I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink at a wedding reception, and it's going to be wonderful. I'll be with my family, my friends. It's going to be a great time. Or, but not every day is a wedding reception, So a lot of the times it'll be a glass of wine, most of the times a glass of wine with dinner, So I'm a power law guy. So I like those intense moments. I like being at a championship game where the crowd is losing and it comes down to the last breath of the game. I love that. But you can't live your whole life with championship games, And so to me, I don't know if I would like to live a flat line, where everything is always, kind of flattish. The vanilla life. I like that. Let's avoid the vanilla life. That's not bad. Yeah.
In terms of, I have to say, Dan, you're like, when how old are you now? Are you 68, 69?
Yeah, I'm sneaking up on 69. Not long. I can smell it. I can smell it, I tell you.
Yeah, because
August the 28th. It's is it the 28th?
Yeah, August 28th.
Yeah, which is St. Augustine.
The Feast of St. Augustine.
Yeah,
right.
There you go.
Well,
I remember you telling me that a couple of years ago. Yeah,
a lot of people in the church are now saying the Feast of St. Dan, but we're holding off. Technically, they say they have to wait till I die, and I'm like, well, that is centuries from now. So let's just move it.
Yeah, because no, I was just going to say, from obviously, if viewers are not watching, if consumers are listening rather than watching, Dan is wearing just a very basic black t-shirt. But you look at his every time we have you on. I think the last time was episode 250, so it's nearly a year ago. Every time you come on, you look in better shape, you look younger, you look healthier. You know, so I mean. What's the latest? Yeah, I mean, in terms of your weight, I think you're down at like an all-time around, like like you said, for most of your life, you said yourself that you were obsessed with, maybe not obsessed, but
Yeah. No,
getting
obsessed is good.
yeah.
Obsessed is
Getting bigger, getting stronger, being big, eating big, being strong, being the big guy. And now, but it looks like, and it seems that you're kind of almost an all-time adult kind of
Yo,
leanness,
this is,
yeah.
yeah. So I graduated from American high school in 1975. Do you want pounds or kilos?
Pounds is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so I weighed 162. And
Mm.
then that summer after I put on some weight, and then when I met Dick Notmeyer, I got up to 202. So I weigh 198 now. So I am lighter than I was basically in September of seven. It's the lightest I've been outside of the Middle East liver parasite. This is the lightest I've been in my adult life.
Mm.
And really I mean, I'm gonna give you the whole, ready for the formula, the
Mm.
fancy formula. Okay, I walk 10,000 steps every day. I have a pedometer in my pocket.
Mm.
I lift weights 3 days a week. I eat almost the exact, and we went over this last time. I remember you doing the math, the protein math. I eat basically the exact same brunch every day. And dinner is always reasonable. It's always just, it's, dinner is always protein vegetables. Okay.
Mm.
Breakfast is protein fruit. I mean, it's
Mm.
pretty simple. Um, I'm sleeping better than I ever have in my entire life.
Mm.
Um, just for a lot of reasons. My personal life stress is way down.
Mm.
So I would say if there's a formula, it's those 3 hard weight workouts a week, hard and fast, half an hour or so. Sometimes a little bit longer, but that's just because of warm-ups. The 10,000 steps, the sleep. I do keep an eye on my calories within reason. And then, of course, having the same boring brunch, and that's not boring, I love it.
Mm.
But the high protein fruit brunch
Mm.
and the protein veg dinner. Yeah,
Mm.
but
Do you
it's,
still work with your coach that you had before, that you
oh
were
yeah, yeah,
because you were sending in like kind of weekly progress and photos and
yeah,
measurements and all that kind of stuff? Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I mean, you get to a point where, I'm still spending the money on it, but the other thing too, it's nice to have an accountability buddy,
Mm.
somebody you're accountable to. And
Mm.
also too, I've done some other things too, like yeah. So I took a class on style and fashion, and I passed it. I took a course on being a gentleman, and it's funny because some of the stuff I'm doing are just, it's stuff my dad would do, like when I hold the door for everybody now. I will stand there holding the door. Um, we're going into the listening to music down here at the Grand America on Saturday nights. I'll hold the door. I'll stand there holding the door for 4, 5, 6 different people.
Mm.
And, the guys who are supposed to do that for a living are like, well, yeah, that's nice of you. Yeah. Um, you wear a wristwatch, you always have a handkerchief, just, those kinds of things that are just
Mm.
pretty simple. Um, I, the other things I'm doing that I think help, I do put on Oil Volay Complete. It's a sunscreen and moisturizer. I have this tea time stuff I wear in my hair. It's got a sunscreen and a moisturizer. I used to get, so I don't know, is there a hole back there in my hair?
Not really, no.
Okay, so as a track coach, one of the joys of being a track athletics track and field coach
Mm.
is you're always getting sunburned. So I've
Mm.
had some minor cancer issues back here, skin cancers on back right on here.
Mm. Oh, you mean you've actually
So
had stuff cut out from there? Like you said,
oh yeah,
is there a hole?
yeah,
You meant like, is there actually like a, yeah, no, I couldn't see anything. No. Yeah.
yeah. So so I've had some stuff cut out. So this tea time stuff has a moisturizer and a sunscreen in it. Oh gosh, obviously I floss my teeth. I do all the other stuff I always have.
Are you still
Um,
sauntering as well regularly?
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
my son right
yeah,
there.
right there. Okay.
It's funny though. This last week, sorry, my helmet just fell over. Uh, this last week, I have not been good about the sauna with just because, um, I but generally I sauna three times a week, and
Mm,
this week I probably only did it once. In this last since last Thursday, as we're speaking,
mm,
just because sometimes the balls go up in the air and you're spending a little bit of time trying to catch them. But yeah, sauna's wonderful. I also think fasting. I think intermittent fasting, fasting of all kinds. I don't get those red blotches on my face anymore. I think
mm, mm,
that's also that cortisol, cortisol levels. And I'm not under the personal stress that I was years ago.
mm,
I was out to dinner with an old friend of mine, and he's going through a lot of the things I went through about 5 years ago. And
mm,
and it's hard. He's having it's hard. And he said to me as we're leaving dinner, he said, "My goal is to be like you in 3 years, to be everything back where they should be." And I was like, I wouldn't wish my 5 years ago on the biggest prick on the planet.
mm,
And so I'm not dealing with that anymore. So
mm,
that's an immense help too. Yeah.
mm. Yeah. No, it's incredible, isn't it? We had I'm trying to think who. That was Jonathan Sackia we had on, Pete. Do you
Yeah,
remember? Who was a
yeah.
he's a really, you'd really like him, Dan. He's a retired British surgeon who spent most of his professional career in LA. He was doing like colorectal surgery and things
Oh yeah.
for, and he lives in London, right near Tower Bridge now, actually.
Okay.
And he's in his 60s, I think, and he spoke very honestly and openly about his he went through a very painful divorce,
Yeah.
as an, and yeah, it's but when you, I mean, to see the way that you've, obviously we've known you for many years, to
Anyway,
see the way that you've, like you say, we've known you through those sort of 5 year ago periods, and to see how you are now, it's so inspiring. And I think it sounds cliche, but that whole, this too shall pass, and somehow
yeah.
you can, but when you're in the thick of it, it just feels like it's the end of the world, doesn't it?
Well, there was a St. Patrick's Day. Now, St. Patrick's here in Utah is huge because we always say it's the parade for the rest of us, versus, the majority here, which barely is a majority anymore, actually.
Yeah.
Um, and I just remember my goal for St. Patrick's Day that year was to not drink and to just get through that day. Uh, and by the way, this is not an anti-alcohol message. I just said it. And to think that I white knuckled myself through just not celebrating St. Patrick's just to see if I could do it. And now I look back and I don't know if it helped or hurt, but how much all I was trying to do was find, I was just trying to find, yeah, I'm just trying to find, this lifeline to just hold, this rope in the fog to get myself out. And that was not long ago. And yet today, things are good. This too
Mm,
shall pass is a tough one.
mm,
But it's so true. The
mm,
musical group, the Weavers said that in 1980 after a thing happened here in the United States. This too shall pass. And it's funny because, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. But
mm,
being with the friend who was going through it was just like, you know, part of me just wanted to scream, ah, you
mm,
know. I told him it feels like a toboggan run. Does toboggan translate? Okay.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Feels like a toboggan run. You're going down this hill really fast, and then you realize you don't have any control in a toboggan. It just goes fast. And if you start coming up to a tree, you just have to jump off.
mm,
Yeah. So, well, I really appreciate you saying that, James. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no. And I was going to ask, so you with your training now, you say three hard sessions per week. Are you still are you retired now from Olympic lifting, or will you occasionally do that, or are you now you've now focused on, like, I know you talk about, focusing on like natural bodybuilding, bodybuilding as you get
Yeah.
older and stuff. But do you still plan
Yeah.
on competing at all?
If the so my club is the Hercules Barbell Club, okay, and I've been a member since 1980, so I've been on the platform a long time. Uh, oh, I don't know how many meets I've lifted. If if my coach Dave says, "Hey, we're to try to win the state championship," especially if I have 8 to 12 weeks, I can get ready. So I'm
Mm.
still 8 to 12 weeks from being, but if you said, Dan, in 2 weeks we want you on the platform, we're going to pay you $1 million, I'd be there for you. Okay, I would say so. But like for example, I'm still doing, I I figure as long as I military press and chin up. Oh, no bragging, but I got 18 chin ups last Friday, which is my lifetime best, which is makes me very happy. But military press and chin up, and I'm doing front squats. If I keep those in my training program, then it's a really easy transition for me back on the platform
Mm.
because of that weird mobility you need for the in the front squat, and then the overhead press just keeps everything. Um, if all I did was bench and let's say I train like most people, if all I did was bench press and then machines, the transition would be really hard to go back to. But since I'm still doing front squats, um, in my home gym here, I have a leg extension leg curl machine. I have a tricep extension arm curl machine, and I just got recommended to buy a plate loaded incline. So, because
Mm.
over time, and let's be honest, I mean, I've been doing this since 1965. Time is a factor. Um, if I move to all machines, it'll be much harder to transition to those 8 to 12 week ramp up.
Mm.
So I'm trying to I'm trying to do exercises that I like machines because you can do high reps, you can get a pump. I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think pumping is the best thing to do all the time. Um, there's two kinds of hypertrophy, the sacral one and the myofibrillar one. We want the myofibrillar one. That's when you have a lot of tension, you're squeezing hard. Uh, Sacro is the one that you kind of pump it up, and it looks good until the pump goes away.
Mm.
But I do think there's a value in pumping. I think it's good for the joints. I think it's good. I also, if you've ever done if you ever got the lactic acid like in leg extensions or arm curls, you get that burn.
Mm.
It's a good feeling, but it has to be also added to the feeling you get from doing a strict set of militaries. You know what I'm saying? Where
Mm.
you're trying to get the reps in, you're not just
Mm.
trying to
Mm.
get the burn. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer in going for the burn on front squats because you could really, you know, actually, I'd like to see the video of that. Someone going for the burn in front.
But like you say, if you're doing your front squats with like a barbell, a decent, I don't know, sets of eight or something, 6 or 8 or
Yeah,
something like that, and then you
yeah,
can go for the leg extensions at the end of the session, can't you? And like you say,
yeah.
get the burn, you get the best of both worlds there. Which way?
Yeah,
And I
what
think
I
with,
do on what I
yeah, go
do
on,
on
say.
Wednesdays is leg extension. So I do 5 rounds, leg extension front squat. So it goes leg extension front squat, leg extension front squat. So that way I really heat my quads up. So I really have to work my butt harder and to
Mm,
hold it, and then because my quads are tired, it does become more of my mobility and flexibility have to really be where they need to be. So it's just
mm.
I
Because I
could
think
be I could be wrong.
I think you said before as well that now if you're competing like Olympic lifting at the state level or whatever, the number of people who are potentially your age and your weight class, that it's becoming a smaller pond, isn't it? Of
I would
people now.
say the chances, there's 50 states in the union. If there was a state with, if there was 50 weekends in a row with state weightlifting meets, I'm pretty confident I would be your masters state champion in every single state in the union. I would have a hard, there's just not a lot of 69-year-old Olympic lifters at my size, and it's, yeah. And of course I would wear all the medals, like those, those guys who wear their medals around after that. It's like, dude, all I did was survive. That's,
You'd be sitting there it's like the cenotaph, isn't it? Every year in London when they have the war memorial, the
Remembrance Sunday.
Yeah. And there's fewer and fewer of them every year, sadly. And it's just like, I can see you being there right at the end.
That's right. I mean, I was there. Yeah. When you go to the World War I memorial, you don't see a lot of those vets anymore. Yeah, they're. Yeah.
Well, the last one to die, the last fighting Tommy to die, so the British soldier was a guy called Harry Patch, and he was from just up the road in Radstock. He's buried in a church in Monks and Combe, which is just up the road. And at the end of my street is the war memorial, and there's two planters there, dedicated to him, and a plaque on the wall. He died in 2009. He was 111, I think.
That is, that is so cool. One of my favorite things about Twickenham is the remembrance park that's right across from the Pope pub where I stay, and it's always it is a lovely, lovely, lovely thing, and I like that. Yeah, you guys do a very, very nice job with that. Yeah.
I was going to mention there's something again, totally going all over the place, but it's because you mentioned Twickenham and London again. Have you seen the trailer? They're doing a new season of Ted Lasso, aren't they, as well?
Well, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I think they finished it. I mean, have you watched Ted Lasso, Pete?
I've not seen it because it's not.
It's on like Apple, isn't it? Apple
TV. How many streaming platforms there are? I've got like 2 of them, and I can't be bothered with any more. So I can't find it.
Because I think they finished it perfectly. They finished it really well, the way it ended. And then they'd always said, "That's it. We're not going to do any more." But obviously, money talks, and probably
what I was hoping they would do. Do you guys know the show Mrs. Brown's Kids or something?
Mrs. Brown's Boys,
Yes. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
So every couple of years, they bring back a Christmas special and they bring back the original cast. And it's about an hour, half-hour show. I was kind of hoping they would just do like a Christmas special. You know what I mean? That is a big BBC tradition, actually, right? The Christmas specials for shows.
Yeah.
The Paradise show, the Paradise Murder Show just did one this year. I was kind of hoping they would just do the 1 hour, this is what happened to every character, kind of a funny little thing, and that's done. But we'll see. I mean, I just want to make sure Ted's happy. That's my, I'm a big fan. It is the most accurate coach's office show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Everyone's sitting around, they're playing with paper, they're hitting paper back and forth. Somebody's reading a book. Somebody else is just kind of wasting time. Coach's office 101, man. Yeah. And then somebody comes in and says, what are we going to do? And the correct answer is, how the F do I know? God, this is not the plan we had. We're falling apart, and we still got to show up on Saturday. I don't know. Yeah,
it was great. No, I think it was a brilliant show. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. No,
absolutely
great. It was great.
Yeah, very good.
What's going on, Dan, with your writing and things at the moment? Have you got any more books coming out or things?
I'm in an embarrassment of riches. So literally today on Amazon, I don't know if it's up yet. But I have a new book. So I'm doing that workshop in Ireland, but I'm also doing a similar one at Cornell University in New York. And they asked me about strength training for youth athletes. So over on Amazon. I think today, I think it comes out. Uh, let me. I think that's what it's called. They always put. Dang it. Sorry. Dang it. There's just so many buttons open on my. Dang it.
You're like a regular Agatha Christie, aren't you? You're just like churning books out all over the
Well, I
shop.
wish. Yeah, it's called Training the Youth Athlete.
Ah, okay.
Train, and that is through Original Strength. And the thing I like about it, I mean, listen to me brag, but I have like ideas for kids 8 to 11, 12 to 14, 15, 16. So I break it down. I talk about, so I'm, yeah, as you, please, I'm not against plyometrics. I just don't think they're usually done well.
Mm.
Does that make sense to you? I
Yeah.
think people
Yeah.
bring it way too early, and then they do way too much. And so one of the things I emphasize with young athletes isn't so much the jumping, but to teach them to land softly,
Mm.
noiselessly. It's a real. So next time you're working with a young athlete, so uh, not not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after, I'm getting carpet put in the main part of my home. So I'm down here in the dredges of my home, in my hovel, my small 6 bedroom, 3 bath hovel here in America. Just very. They make movies of it, but we're going to put carpet on that because no matter what you're doing upstairs, you pass gas upstairs. I know it down here. I can hear it. Okay. So we're going to put carpet in. And it's funny because certain people walk very, very loudly.
Mm.
And so one of the things I try to teach my athletes is well, walk softly and carry a big stick. It's Teddy Roosevelt. So one of the things I really emphasize with the youth athlete is not just the jumping part, but the learning to land quietly.
Mm.
And it's kind of funny because they start to go, like they're cats.
Mm.
That's good. So it's those kinds of things, very basic stuff. I mean, you're not gonna, uh, I think you should master like you call it a press up, we call it a push up, but
Mm.
the press up, the goblet squat, the suitcase carry. There,
Mm.
there's your basic program,
Mm.
hanging from a bar. Okay, there's a great program for you, and
Mm.
then you do jumps by landing softly. So you train the hinge by training landing softly. So it's those kinds of things. I talk a lot about puberty. I've got one big chapter on puberty, but I keep bringing it back up because I mean, I was blessed. I didn't hit true really, I didn't have hair in my armpits until I was a freshman in college. I mean, I hit puberty really late. What I did not know it at the time, but what an advantage it was long term because I was sprinting to catch up with my teammates. And then when I caught up the secondary growth, I was so far ahead. I was so weird to go. It was like we're in a race and everyone stopped at the 50-meter mark and I went to the 100. It was like, what happened to all you guys? So I talk, and we fall in love as coaches with the kid who hits early puberty. And
Mm.
then I also talk about on the women's side, the Q angle and things like that. I also talk about how I hate sports specificity until, you shouldn't really, and obviously gymnastics, there's maybe golf, but, and, but even Rory, he, as a kid, he just had he had a washing machine that he used to try to
Mm.
chip the balls into every day. That's how he practiced.
Because
Uh,
Tiger Woods was very, he was like a little toddler, wasn't he, as well on
Oh,
TV? I remember seeing
he
him.
was
He
on
was
the Merv Griffin. He was on
uh,
the Merv Griffin show when he was two,
yeah, 2 or 3 years of age. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just
But
incredible.
so
Yeah,
but so
yeah,
is Yo-Yo Ma.
yeah,
But that's prodigy stuff, and you
yeah,
shouldn't, as most parents are going to have to worry about that.
yeah.
And they also talk about sports specificity with exercises too, which I just
Mm.
don't believe in.
Mm.
Well, no, I do, but boy, you got to be good at it. And then the other book, I had 3 books. One's called Intervention The other one's called Can You Go, and the third one's called Now What. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure I've done those at your there in
Yeah, and I've got all of those books. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So this book that's going to be on my website, and I think we'll probably have it available this next week, is I took all three of the books and I slammed them into one.
Mm.
And it'll be only on my website because that's because that's what I want.
Mm.
But it's so for those of you who you know didn't want to read three books, well, you can get one book. And so the idea is, it's a very simple system. I think my assessments, do you guys remember that? Don't you, the one, two, three,
Yeah, we
four.
still use. I use that in the gym still now.
Okay.
Yeah, we use that a
So
lot. Yeah.
now it's just one book, just one
Mm.
book.
Mm.
I repeat a few things in there, like I have Hippocrates thing on fasting twice in the book because I think it's very funny.
Mm.
You know, uh, you know, whenever people say that this, Ori Hoffelmecker invented intermittent fasting, I always say, well, Hippocrates also said it. Uh, if you read Tacitus, when he goes to the Germans, they intermittent fast. They sleep
Mm.
in late, they don't eat for a long time, and then they kind of hang around and eat some meat. So they're
Mm.
intermittent fasting. It's just the Greeks ate twice a day. We know the Romans. We think it's always it's a mix, but it's been around. And of course, if you go to the Greek Orthodox calendar, which it's been around a while.
Mm. Mm.
So that's why I mentioned that. And then I also mentioned a couple times in the book, if I say this is what we're going to do, but you see my team playing dodgeball, instead of practicing, they're playing dodgeball and they're doing one. I think throwers should throw and lift weights. They shouldn't be doing balance or agility. No one throws anything at you as a thrower. So
Mm.
you don't need agility. I
Mm.
mean, you can certainly do it, but it's just a waste of time.
Mm.
Well, for an elite athlete. You always have to be careful. It's learning to put on a seatbelt every time. You only get into accidents every so often, so why do it all the time? It's
Mm.
one of those things, it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you're in Ireland, I think it's because it's Stephen Kinsella, isn't it? Who's
yeah.
around? Yeah, because I think I said he reached out to me to see if I wanted to come over, but unfortunately, I can't do that weekend, so I won't be able to be over there in Ireland. But that'll be brilliant. So if anyone is in, Ireland, I think it's in Wicklow in Ireland. And it's the kind of weekend of, I don't know if it's the 2nd or 3rd of October or something
Yeah.
like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Around then. So yeah, highly recommend um, you know, looking out on Dan's stuff or Stephen
So
Kinsella. Yeah.
yeah, I'll be handing out the training for youth athlete books. That'll be part of my day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that'd be
So
fantastic. Yeah.
Uh,
And
what I'm trying to do, I hope. So what I'm trying to do with any workshop I do is I'm trying to turn it into a kind of this
yeah, because I
isn't
know
a
we had a book when you came we came over with Tim, didn't
Tim.
we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So like this one here is the ABCs and Fs of strength training. And so if I do I'm trying to turn my workshops into, you know, so if you can't make my workshop and let's not be, you know, I'm older than my mom and dad when they died,
Mm,
and my brother Phil's no longer with us. I'm not trying to be morbid on, hopefully I'll make it up the stairs to get my workout in after this.
mm.
But, the other day I saw the angel of death, and we played chess and I won. So yay, I'm still here. But, so
Well, we're gonna book you now for episode 500. So
that's right.
Yes. So it can't go anywhere.
So, yeah. So, I, I'm aware of my own mortality, and I just also, and I also think, I wish I'd have done this sooner. There's so many of my books and stuff that I wish I would have published, and not books, pardon me, workshops that I wish I would have written, turned into something. Obviously, intervention and Can You Go our workshops I was able to turn into books. But I just feel, a lot of it got lost. I am working on another book too. Um, it's well, I don't know if you can see this. This is
Yeah.
my approach to everything in life. It's called the 5 buckets. If you want to add that to the thing, just email me and I'll send you that. So, do we have time for me to go over that?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Okay, so when I took this fashion course, style course, when I took this other course, when I talked to somebody else, I began to notice that the same things. I took a financial course. I like, by the way, I like taking courses. I like always learning, it's just a thing, okay? But the very first thing you always do in any course is you assess. So with me, you walk in, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the 1, 2, 3, 4 assessment. If I'm working with you online, the first question is, what equipment do you have? Okay. So assess always starts first. When it comes to style, you're supposed to take all your clothes out of your wardrobe and lay them out. Second step, almost universally, is to declutter. So in the financial course, it's get rid of your debt, become debt free. In the style course, it's for God's sakes, get rid of that ugly ass shirt that doesn't fit you. Get rid of that. Clean it up. So bucket number one is assess and look for your gaps. Okay. Uh, Number two is to declutter as best you can. And when you talk about nutrition, decluttering might be stop, get out of this conversation that this is a good food and that's a bad food. Stop, get all the crap out of your cupboard if you can. The third step is setting up habits or a system. And for me, in nutrition, the best system I know is to set up a weekly menu of what you're going to eat for dinner. That's by far the easiest thing. I would say have a standard brunch, eat the same damn thing in the first meal every day, and then get clever with your dinners. There you go. And then have a shopping list that supports the menu. Okay. Um, then the step 4 is the hardest one, and that's standards and enough. So if you're my student and I show up to class to lecture and you're sitting in your chair with a pen, with your notebook ready, well, of course you are, because that is the standard I expect. Make sense? Um, I expect you to be in workout clothes, ready to go when I show up to train with you. Okay. That's just okay. As an elite level discus thrower, of course you bench 400, snatch 250, clean 300, squat 450. That's what we expect for an international level throw. Standards. And then the other phrase that comes with it is enough. So, one of the things I'm working with my coach is, so I'm down to 198 now, 90 kilos. And we're talking now about getting my waistline down a little bit more. If I get my waistline down 2 or 3 more inches, that's great. But will it be repeatable and doable? So where is enough on my waistline? Where is enough on the scale? And because if you don't deal with enough, you're constantly chasing, you're constantly chasing this magic number, you know. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the last bucket is to give back. So that is my make a difference, or, for me, be a man for others. It could be coaching, it could be having a positive podcast that shares what we know and helps out. So you're at bucket number 5, right, as we speak today. So I'm taking that, and right now, statistically in America, it's not hard to be a millionaire. Now, because home prices here. When I bought this house, I bought it for $350,000, and it's worth about 1.2 million. I didn't. Obviously, I made lots of upgrades, but I didn't. Not that much money.
Yeah.
But to have a 6-pack in the United States right now, probably 1% of the population, maybe a tenth of 1%. So I'm thinking about writing a book combining those high-end fitness goals, a high-end fitness goal with a high-end financial goal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So you're not slowing down at all then, are you? It's great. It sounds like you're doing, yeah,
Well,
more.
wait, hang on. In my defense, I've got, so I'm the grandfather of five. Okay. So I got to make sure they're doing. I got two daughters, I got a hot girlfriend. I got to constantly keep my eye on. I got to keep it going, baby.
No, this has been absolutely brilliant catching up, and I know you're going to
One
be.
thing I
Yeah.
have, I'm looking out my window here. People are driving up to train with me, so I'm going to have to bounce here in just a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was just going to say, I was just going to say, I know you're going to be training in a minute, so we'll wrap up. But yeah, just absolutely brilliant to catch up with you again. Like I say, I'm really sorry I'm not able to get over to Ireland when you're
Yeah.
there. Otherwise, it would be. But at some stage, we will have to get you back over to Chelmsford
Wow.
in Essex to Unique Results to do another workshop, course,
Well,
seminar, something like that. So
let's just plan. Let's not right now, but let's just plan it and do it.
yeah.
And then, for those of you who've never been to Chelmsford, I mean, the cultural the cultural impact of Chelmsford on the world is so intense that I could make 2 months spending there just enjoying all the cultural stuff that goes on there, right?
And it is the birthplace of radio, as you know.
The birthplace, there you go. And you also get a chance to see a very famous battle where the Vikings were stopped and should have been stopped, except for a conversation that happened and they lost the battle.
Yes, yeah, the Battle of Malden, the Battle of Malden.
Battle of Malden, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you guys are a delight. Peter, always good to see you. And James, just always an honor. Let's not wait another 50 episodes, okay?
No, we won't. Brilliant.
Nope.
Thank you so much, Dan. I'll tell you what, Dan, we'll let you go to train and then I'll wrap up because I know you've got your people turning up. Well, it'll only be 30 seconds. You can hang on if you want. Right. Thank you, everybody. Please do like, share, subscribe, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you check out Dan John, Coach Dan John on Instagram, and Dan John University, isn't it, on website? Yeah, I've been a member for years on there. It's a really great resource, and I'll actually have to go on and check out the Beowulf writing on there. That's on there. So
you're all over this, aren't you?
I'm all over it. I'm going to find
an
that
episode on Beowulf. I can see it coming.
I'm going to finish watching that movie. And yes, and I will definitely be speaking to Dan. We'll be arranging a workshop as well in Chelmsford again. Until next time, thank you very much, Dan.
Take care.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Lance.
Thanking you.
Brilliant. And we'll see you next week for episode 301. Until then, bye-bye.
You've been listening to Health Odyssey with Peter Lant and James St. Pierre. To get your regular fix of hype-free health, you can subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can find out more on today's and other topics at healthodyssey.com or find us on Facebook or Instagram by searching for Health Oddity.